Well, this is the video. I'm going to move away from Christmas a little bit. Maybe a little bit. We'll see before the end of this video how this turns out. This is Steve Good pattern. It's kind of this optical illusion type thing. I like these. He's got several of them. I haven't done one yet. It's going to be my first attempt at this. But what he's got here is he does this in 1/4 inch. So I'm going to get way off the beam here, do things really different. I've got this pattern mounted. I haven't got the holes drilled yet, but I've got it in a scrap piece of 1/8 Baltic birch. Then he has a pattern for your background, or your backing board. And in his, he painted them black. That was a good contrast, a light color, especially that Baltic birch is pretty light. And that would really show up through that. And then he has this pattern, which is a frame for it. And that's a lot of material that of course you still got good material in the inside, but that's still a big piece of material you got to cut just to get that little piece of frame on one piece. So I'm gonna go a little different. Like I say, I got that on a piece of Baltic birch. I got 1/8 inch. It's plenty of light, so anything dark will show up behind it. And I've ripped me some walnut. And I ripped it down and mounted it to make a frame this size, and I'm going to glue that on there. I've already got that cut and measured and everything in place. And for the backing board, I got plenty of cardboard here. I'm going to get some heavy cardboard because I want to experiment with colors. Black behind that will look real good, but my wife's suggestion was, it's Christmas, make them look like decorations. Ornaments on a tree. I'm going to try that. It may not look very good, but I'm going to do it both ways so we can decide if we like it or not. So first I got to drill these holes, and that's a lot of cuts, but they're big, fairly easy cuts. They're not real elaborate. They're just a lot of them. Got a few little small ones, but they're not real difficult. Just going to take a little time to cut it and a little patience. So I got to drill those holes, and I'm going to get it over the saw. I'll probably use a number 3. That's a thin, light wood. Cuts real easy. So let me get the holes drilled. We'll go to the saw, get it set up, and we'll cut it out, and then I'll start experimenting with colors. So here, a few days later, since I last filmed, I'm finished with this project. I had some things going on there I had to finish up. This is a simple little project. I'm going to apologize to Steve Good for butchering his pattern. That's what I've done. I've totally altered this thing it looks the same, but it's not. I've made a huge change to this, several smaller changes. Like I said, this is Baltic birch. It's just 1/8 inch, and this frame is some walnut that I ripped down and mitered and made a little frame out of it. Also, I didn't use wood for the backing. It's cardboard. And what you see here is how it originally looked. Steve Good finished it. There's this a black background on this thing, but I've made it convertible. You see that little black tab sticking up on the top there? That has a purpose, which I'm going to demonstrate here in a minute. But when we got this, so I got this pattern. I was showing it to my wife, and what a neat looking pattern it was, and I really like this. And she says, well, that looks like it could be Christmas tree decorations, the ornaments on a tree. So I ran with that. So I made this convertible. what you see right here is how it's supposed to look and how I would display it most of the year. But then when Christmas comes, I take this little tab and pull it out, and there I have them painted red and green and gold. I hope you can see that well. But what I got, that was just a little piece of construction paper, black construction paper I stuck in there. And what I did with that, I got a piece of cardboard for the backing board, and had some really thin wood that I ripped and glued in there between so that that paper would slide in. And I really like this with the colors. It kind of stands out. So then Christmas is over, I can slide that black paper back in there and hang it back on the wall. He's got several other patterns similar to this, kind of optical illusion type stuff. I really like the way they look, and I've got some ideas to kind of mangle them a little bit too. So my apologies to him, but I really enjoyed this pattern, and I like the way the project turned out. And part of the reason it took so long, I had to paint those areas. And there's I've done several projects like this where you just paint areas to show through. And every time you go back and check it, you find areas that you need to paint again. So it's like 7 or 8 tries to get the paint where you want it, get the coverage the way you want it. But I always like the result. It always looks good. So I hope you like that. And if you do, hit the like button. And if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, I'm going to play some games with some more of these little patterns. Well, stay tuned, and I'll get those up here in the next few weeks. This is kind of winding down my Christmas patterns, Christmas projects. So I thought I had to throw this in on this one. I kind of like the idea, so I put it in and ran with it. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.